boy. It is the Matt Mosley Show. I mean, we are live. You are looking live at the Matt Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network. We're pleased to be with you. We last saw you, well, on various platforms. Let's see. We had the Doomsday podcast was yesterday afternoon after that crazy shootout at AT&T Stadium, and then the Green and Gold Game Day podcast, and then before that, of course, Friday, right here on the Mosley Show. So there's so many different ways, so many different paths to see us. But I know, Scotty, I have to think that even though the Z-Man, Zach Burke, was the one producing Doomsday, I have to think Scotty was kind of checking that out, seeing what Werder and I had to say. And again, I love the Rogue staff because Scotty, and most people couldn't even know because we still have our beautiful graphics, and I kind of have a similar background than usual. But like, as we speak, people are like moving all around the country to make sure, you know, I had a couple of technical issues that needed to be ironed out, and they're doing that. So I love that. Man, we all come together and we all make these things work. And it was fun. Thanks to KWTX and thanks to all the guys out there. Scotty, we had the, I didn't know what that meant when somebody said they were going to be playing the role of you the other day. I thought I really only have room in my life for one Scotty Swingler. But that guy, and I probably will at some point need to commit his name to memory, that guy did a good job the other day at our big game day kickoff, our Green and Gold game day preview show right out there from Brazos Parking. And as I was leaving from the Baylor game, Baylor won 42-7. They didn't play particularly well. Dave Aranda was not pleased, and that seemed to be the appropriate response to that performance. But as I was heading out to the media lot, somebody called me over, Scotty, and they were like, hey, loving y'all's show, loving the YouTube show. So that was fun. That was fun to kind of run into some of those folks. And they were not like our family members or anything. It was actually somebody that would be kind of from Waco society, let's call it. Very the creme de la creme of Waco society, calling us over to say they enjoyed the show. So that was fun. Scotty's got apparently our Campus Confidential is going to be stacked today. We will have plenty of Baylor reaction for you. Scotty, I thought it was appropriate, though, that I would begin today with just reacting to where I was yesterday, and that was at AT&T Stadium. And we'll share with you my conversation coming up soon with Jerry Jones after the game. You'll hear Jerry. It was a really interesting deal. We were on some kind of freight elevator. When they built this beautiful stadium, they didn't exactly have the media in mind. Shocker, I know. But so now, like all the food carts and everything that's on like a freight elevator or whatever you would call that, like they're having to send all the huge catering, like on a special service elevator, Scotty, and you've seen these. Like that's what they heard the media onto, to send them down to the field. And it's never, in all the years I've been doing this, I've never been like, I don't care. I don't care where they put me. As long as I can get down there, it doesn't bother me. But it is strange. And yesterday, one of my cohorts, Todd Archer from ESPN.com, like a woman pushing some of the old desserts, or she'd cleared out a table. She broke a plate, then ran into his leg. He almost fell down. So there was a lot going on. And by the way, let's start today. Look up there. Look at these graphics. I mean, I love this. Cherry Johnson, Sigmund James, one of the great law firms in all of Central Texas, really all of Texas. And, Craig, because of his success, keeps getting asked in his career, and he's about my age. We were at Baylor Law School together. He keeps getting asked to be in all these other law firms. And what he finally just decided to do is I'm going to put my own like all-star dream team together right here in Waco, Texas, because he was in these firms where they had them in several different big cities. And now, man, they hammer it. And in fact, Johnson in this group just had some enormous settlement and just got named like top 10 trucking lawyer in America. And that's a big thing because a ton of these, you get these trucking accidents and truckers have some issues. And hey, truckers have rights, man. And hey, these things happen out there. They're also sometimes cause wrecks. So anyway, unbelievable job that they do, our official law firm. Of course, Central National Bank, our presenting sponsor, and then Ascension Providence. You see it down there. And we're so fortunate to have a great place like that. Incredible team of doctors to talk to. In fact, Scotty, yesterday as I was leaving the Cowboys locker room, speaking of medical issues, first of all, our man was in a neck brace. Kevontae Turpin had a good game, kind of turned that game, had a touchdown. I thought he was very important in that game. Hurt his neck, wasn't able to come back in the game. The bigger, I think he's going to be okay. I really do. The bigger injury was to the starting center, Cooper Beebe, and he's really good. I mean, you don't really hear much about him because honestly, he's doing his job. And he's just gotten better and better. He's the player from Kansas State. He's now in his second or third year, maybe second year. Anyway, he's playing really well. And he was on crutches. And I took a long look at his ankle yesterday in the locker room. Enormous. I mean, it just puffed up real big. I'm a bad ankle guy. Oh, there's C&B. Hello, Brian Fonville, Nesbitt, the whole family. Appreciate you. It had swollen huge, and he was barely getting around. Now, that said, he may be out there. The way I looked at it was like, man, he might be out for a little bit. That's how bad it looked. And before I just dive right into this Cowboys game, and we'll hear from Jerry too, breaking NFL news a little bit earlier today, Joe Burrow, it's official. We knew it was headed this direction. He's going to be out 3 months, going to have surgery on that toe, and it looks like a turf toe, but if you're going to have to do surgery, that means there's some ligament damage in there and that kind of thing. I think it's his left toe, and it's a rough one. That's a rough one, and even a quarterback, this is an active guy who can run, who can move, he's got to be ready to move in the pocket, and I don't think he can play through it, and I know he's very, very upset, but he's going to be out 3 months. Now, Browning, who came in for him, not Blair Browning, but Jake Browning. Blair Browning is a professor at Baylor, my old college roommate. Scotty may have had him for something. I don't know if Scotty ever made it over there to the communication school, but he should have. I spent too much time over at Handcammer and then realized I could get the grades up just a little bit if I went over to Castellaw. And I got over there and did some good things and kind of got that thing creeping up back in the maybe like around the threes, which is good. You want to get it up there around the 3.0 and just kind of hover a little bit. Don't want to get too high because your expectations go up for you. Don't want to get too low though because you lose any chance of scholarships. But I don't recall ever having any of those. But great to be with you today. A lot going on. Scotty, today's one of those days you give thanks for if you're a Cowboys fan. And I grew up one. I've covered the team so long now. I like to see them do well because it makes it a better story. I don't root for them, but I talk about them a lot. My whole career has been spent talking about the Cowboys, so I know a lot about them. I just don't root for them. When it comes to Baylor, I am very impartial. No, with Baylor, I'm pretty open about the fact that I do root for them, and there's no ifs and buts about it. But with the Cowboys, I am truly neutral, and unbeknownst to people seem to always be shocked. I'm like, I sleep just as poorly whether they win or lose. Okay, the same poor amount of sleep that I get. Scotty acts like he's he loves sleep, and I love it too. I would love to get some of it someday. And there's literally no reason in the world why you should go to a noon game, work till 5 or 6, and then that night still have trouble falling asleep. But I continue to struggle with that, and have tried it, varying amounts of drugs and things to treat it. Nothing really seems to work, so I just kind of naturally sit there and think about things. Now, Scotty, it helps to have the greatest kicker in the game. The best kicker of the past 20 years in the NFL? Maybe. It may be headed that way. Oh, Scotty's always Johnny on the spot. Now, look at there. That is from 64 yards. If you don't think that would have gone from 70, I mean, that was easily from 70. And then to, okay, here we're going to get another look at this. It's 64 yarder. So you got to hit it low. You got to get enough power. And then that sucker just straightened out for him like it was nothing. I mean, you talk about, look at Jerry. Okay. And we'll hear from Jerry here in a minute. It's amazing. Like, I would say if he hadn't have made that kick, one of the things we'd have been doing today, Scotty, look at this. Ooh, little Mosley. Look at that. Add a little light. I think the crowd that kind of watches us as a podcast later, they're going to love this. They're going to be like, oh, look at Mosley. He's bright. But the live group, we like to do weird things during the show to prove that we're live. Just like that graphic we just put up. Central National Bank. Thank you, CNB. Appreciate everything you do. Scotty just put the 64-yarder up there. And then, of course, Scotty, he wins it in OT with, oh, it's coming. There it is. Okay, let's take a peek at this. There's the 46-yarder. For him, that's like a 25-yarder. That's just chip shot city. And get another look at this, 37-37, and he powers it through, and the place goes crazy. And some weird guys back there doing some funny stuff behind the deal. I mean, what a fitting and funny, I don't know if it's fitting. It's a very funny ending to that game, Scotty, that like the secondary got torched the entire game, including with 25 seconds left when Moonball Russ Wilson. Russ was cooking. You always hear people talking about let Russ cook. And then it became sort of a pejorative. It became sort of a joke, when he was cooking like horrible things and not playing well for the Steelers last year. And he was not good last week. And there was already talk on like, who's going to be your starter? Are you going to start Jackson Dart? And if Russ Wilson didn't come out there and just torch the Cowboys, and I know they were missing Deron Bland, but, I mean, everybody's missing somebody. My gosh. I mean, they had Trayvon Diggs out there, and know he's coming back and trying to get his feet back under him after being injured and throughout the offseason coming back from it. But, my gosh, really? You're just, I mean, like, it's one of the highest paid cornerbacks in the game. One of the great DBs out there. One of the guys that's just tremendous at tracking the football. And he just got burned over and over and over again. I mean, Scotty, pick your whether it be the Dolphins or the Redskins of the 80s. They had the Fun Bunch. They had the Smurfs. They had the Good Times Gang or whatever they were. I mean, they were both those groups were like unbelievable. Did we know the Giants were similar? Do we need to come up with a nickname for these Giants? Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton. Whoa! I don't think so. I think the Cowboys were just horrific yesterday at trying to stop that. And it wasn't like, okay, Eberflus is wanting to play zone. Okay, are they confused? Do they know where to line up? I mean, from what I was watching, literally you'd have a corner or just pass somebody off. Okay, hey, I got this zone. Okay, we good? I'm going to pass this receiver off. And then by the time they pass them off, the corner and the safety are both getting burned. It's like all day, poor Donovan Wilson, former Texas A&M great, at safety, racing past him. Kyer Elam, you're like, why did the Cowboys, why were they able to get this guy from the Buffalo Bills, former first-round pick? Because he gets burned a lot. Because the Bills had basically stopped playing him. He was so bad. Like, I think he's okay. He'll have moments for the Cowboys this season. He was okay against the Eagles. I thought he did some good things against the Eagles. I mean, they were just racing past the Cowboys. I don't know, like, how much of that is on Eberflus and how much is they just couldn't get anybody out there. Like, I was just like, honestly, they had one dude that was at least coming up and playing the run yesterday. His name was Reddy. I want to say his name was like Reddy. I mean, they were just bringing random people in. I did see Malik Hooker out there. He is capable of playing in the slot, not very well, I might add. And then at times, the Cowboys would get stuck trying to cover Wan'Dale Robinson up the seam with Jack Sanborn, with the linebacker. Oh, I mean, if you play that kind of pass defense, I mean, here's how. And then of course Jerry was asked about the situation with the pass rush, because of course Micah's now with the Green Bay, and they said, oh, they're going to scheme up a pass rush. Well, early Houston, what's his name? James Houston. Does that sound right? There's another Houston that's a pass rusher. I don't get them mixed up. Number 53. Houston comes rolling in there, gets a sack. Okay, that's good. They got one more sack in that game. I think they had 2 sacks. Somebody tried to give them 3. I only remember 2 sacks for the Cowboys. I mean, they do not pressure the quarterback. But it was funny that Donovan, I started to say that earlier, Donovan Wilson gets the interception in overtime that allows the Cowboys to drive down and then and kick that winning field goal. I mean, I think in Russell Wilson's defense, he was throwing for so many yards. He threw for 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, interception. Was it 3 or 4 touchdowns? Maybe 4. He was unbelievable with his moon shots, with the moon ball. And even with 4th down, think about that. 4th down, you're needing to keep the drive alive. There's 25 seconds left, and he just throws a moon shot to Malik Neighbors, and Neighbors is behind both the Cowboys. I mean, think about that. You've got 25 seconds left. They have to score a touchdown. A field goal does them no good. All you have to do, the thing you have to do more than anything, is keep them out of the end zone. And you had 2 guys back there, and you let the guy get behind you. Like these, in other places, even last year with the Bears, these were fireable offenses. Yet the Cowboys had enough time to come out, complete a ball in midfield, and they got the greatest kicker in the game, and he made it happen, and he sent one home. Now, if you play like that, if you play defense like this against the majority of your schedule, you'll win 4 or 5 games this season. Now, I think they'll play a little bit better than that. They're going to get better than that, but that's way too much pressure to put on your offense. You score 40. Had to score 40. Don't score 40 every week. Not going to do it in the NFL. You need to score 30. Got a better shot at it, but that's a lot to ask. 30 points every time you go out. Hey, at least you look like you got a running back. I mean, 33 looks like he can run a little bit. I mean, I think that had to make Cowboys fans feel good that they got a hard. And Miles Sanders, good complimentary back. He got down there around the goal line, got in, didn't fumble this time. He seems to be a guy in the red zone who gives you a little something. But Javonte, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really know what to think of him, but I swear he ran hard yesterday, 97 yards in that game. So Shoddy gets his first win. Good for Shoddy. All right, Scotty, let's tell you what we'll do. We got a nice little medley, if you will, or we pared it down a little bit. Jerry will talk and talk and talk. Yesterday, because I was on some crazy freight elevator, it took us a while to get down there, and we missed the first part of Jerry. We usually don't. This doesn't happen. And I'm trying to get back there, and everybody's looking for my credential, and I'm having to reach down and get that to get in position. And then Jerry, after like a question or two, just cuts it off. Like, okay, guys, thank you. And I'm like, what in the world? But about 4 or 5 of us kept following him. And we're glad we did, because he breaks the news to us that during the game, the Cowboys signed a pass rusher. The pass rush was so bad, they had to add a pass rusher during the game. They couldn't play. I do make a joke. You'll hear me make a little joke. Jerry liked the joke. This is the Rogue Media Network on the scene with Jerry Jones and about 4 of my media friends as we circle around Jerry. Let's let our folks hear a little bit of this, our media time after yesterday's thrilling 40-37 victory for the Cowboys. Here is our time with Jerry Jones.
Mosley Radio Network, Monday through Friday. You're here at 5 o'clock every single day. And after today's unbelievable overtime win for the Dallas Cowboys, I had a chance to catch up with Jerry Jones just minutes after the game in the tunnel, and he had some very interesting things to share. Here is my conversation with Jerry Jones after Sunday's game. Aubrey, does that just give you a lot of comfort knowing he can do something like that? You know, right there from midfield.
He's a terrific weapon, and of course he's obviously got nerves, got great nerves in terms of just his being in the moment, and his skill level is none better. And so he's a great weapon for us, and he makes us obviously a better team. We won one today because of having him, and some other big effort out there, but really I'll give him his proper due here. He won that game.
What were your feelings when Neighbors scored that touchdown with 25 seconds left?
Oh, I thought I just couldn't believe that they'd gotten it in. And we all knew that they were very capable of doing that, and just felt like that it just wasn't going to go our way. But of course, I'm glad that Dak didn't feel that way. I'm glad that the guys out there playing didn't feel that way, and that's my whole point. We grew out there today. We're better now than we were when we started that game.
Pass interference call was made on George Pickens. I don't know if you had a chance to see the replay. You know, some people thought it was a little bit ticky-tack just in terms of the call by the ref, that pass interference call.
I'm sorry, but there were a lot of penalties out there today, and I wouldn't dare come in behind them at this juncture and say, boy, that was tight, that was close, what have you. I think if you look at the yardage, I was shocked we got up to where we were about 60-70% of what they had. So a lot of penalties called out there today.
To get an interception after the DBs had such a struggle, I mean, that had to be a good feeling to see one of those guys make a play.
It really was, and especially him, because it looked like that he had a miss there on the touchdown, and then for him to come back and get the interception, I thought was really judicious, right. And it was right for us, I know that.
What's your concern level with Cooper Beebe? We saw him limping into the locker room.
Yeah, I don't have any idea the extent of his. He's a tough guy, and I didn't hear anything during the game that was of a degree that I would be worried about it. But I want to emphasize I don't know the assessment of the injury.
And Turpin's neck. Is that something?
Turpin just couldn't go back out. We couldn't get enough information. X-ray's pretty good, but just couldn't under the rule of hold them out. We just signed while we were here today. We just signed another pass rusher, but we're playing it pretty straight. We're rushing forward, and so we'll have an announcement on that. We signed him right during the game or before the game, and yeah. So, but the point is that we were playing it pretty heads up. We were rushing forward most of the time, and you're playing a quarterback that can really drop that ball in there. So we thought the best way to handle this thing was to try to cover them. We weren't correct, and so who's ever got him to play, and if we play him again, how we were trying to a pass defense was suspect.
So you completed you completed the Clowney deal?
Yeah.
It's been completed, yes.
How can Clowney help you guys?
Well, he'll add some he's has been an outstanding player, and he'll add some real depth and some he's very credible, and he'll help us. It's the kind of thing that we will continue to do. It's a lot of the reason we handle our roster the way we handle it, so we can do these kinds of things.
Were you trying to get him out there for overtime?
If I'd if it had been dressed out, I would have dressed out myself if I thought it would have helped in that game. Boy, I didn't know how many more of those we were going. Now my understanding is that the overtime's over at the half, isn't it? And there a limit on the overtime?
Yeah.
You're 10 minutes.
I thought it was
10
over.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what.
I thought you were playing for a tie.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Thank you very much.
Scotty, did you see me? Because you hear me try to get a couple of jokes in. It never stops. He liked the one about maybe trying to get the guy in for overtime. Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, just so everybody understands, like, that's pretty rare that the owner just shares some big news like that. Generally, you might leak it, or one of the beat reporters will get a hold of something like that. It's not usually the news isn't passed out by the owner, who's already talked for like 12, 13, 15 minutes. And he just says, we signed the pass rusher. And you heard it. We had to kind of circle back and go, Clowney? You got Clowney? And he's like, yeah. And at first, I think he said during the game, and then I think he said before the game. But very funny that so Jadeveon Clowney is now a member of the Dallas Cowboys, and by the way, known as a pretty fair pass run defender, but mainly brought in to help against the to get in there and get the quarterback. And Russell Wilson had way too much time, and the Cowboys to suggest that they were going to somehow scheme up a pass rush, and that was going to be the answer. Is it was silly when it was said, and it appears to be silly in practice. Now, the Bears, who they're about to go face, got embarrassed by the Lions. Bears had a chance to win the first week, and they let one get away, and they had a meltdown at the end of that game. This game, the Lions just lined up and embarrassed them. And honestly, the Lions coach, Dan Campbell, who I covered when he was with the Cowboys, he played at A&M. He's got no chill. I watched him rub it in Jerry's face one time and do some stuff at the end of the game to kind of clown on the Cowboys. And then he basically, and he said he didn't see it that way, but he basically ran the score up on a guy who had been his offensive coordinator, Chicago. And now Chicago is just embarrassed, and they are looking at the prospect of possibly falling to 0-3. Okay? Now, could have been on the other foot. This could have been a battle next week of two 0-2 teams, and the Cowboys having a chance to fall to 0-3. And the only reason it didn't happen is because the Cowboys have an unbelievable kicker. Now, like what happens with a lot of these games, I always start looking, and there's a lot of good ones out there. I don't try to come on here and like do a whole lot of X's and O's and, take you through who was pulling and what the play exactly was or how many creepers they had out there like Aranda would talk about. But I do like that stuff. It's not that I don't like it. And so John Owning used to be really good with the morning news. He may be with PFF or somebody now. I look at his stuff, and then I'll look at Brian Baldinger because he does some really fun breakdowns on Monday morning of the different teams. And by looking at that, here's some of the pass defense is like abhorrent. I mean, it is a unmitigated disaster. As the rope at Baylor once wrote of somebody, the rope always makes me laugh right around the and then every once in a while they'd come in to sing or pigskin or whatever and try to mess that up a little bit. One time they called something nugatory BS. They spelled BS. But I was like a kid. I was in junior high school, or maybe even younger than that. And I just remember seeing the word nugatory. And to this day, I don't know exactly what it means, but I love using it. I like kind of if something's really bad. Or you can just say it's an abject failure. And this is stuff, Scotty, that you can totally use on Please Bear With Me. As one of the great, there was one of my buddies one time that told Michael Irvin, he was like talking to Michael Irvin, and just in passing, he used a word. And Michael Irvin, who was with ESPN at the time, it's like, wait, what is that word? He's like, I want to write that word down. And so the guy was watching ESPN the next Sunday before games or whatever, and heard Michael Irvin using the word over and over again. Oh man! All right, lot going on. Now we have some major campus confidential coming up, and we had all kinds of. Boy, the Aggies are riding high after a win over Notre Dame. Baylor survives. I mean, they did more than survive. They won 42-7. At 2 o'clock, we'll have more. We'll dive into Baylor. What was Sawyer doing the other day? Is that going to hurt his Heisman campaign? Thank goodness. I think the answer is no. And thank goodness nobody was watching that game except for maybe the two of us and a few of you. Game's at 11. I think everybody watched the Green and Gold Game Day show on KWTX and then on our YouTube page, and then they just said to heck with it. So I would say, Scotty, let's not talk about those interceptions too much because most of America doesn't know about them other than they'll show up in the stats. So now it's like however many touchdowns he has, like 9 touchdowns or 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. In the whole scheme of a Heisman season, that doesn't mean much. There was one year where Robert went forever without an interception.
When Central National Bank decided to partner
with like only 3. And so I don't think Sawyer's going to keep it that low, but that was careless the other day. We'll get into some of that, and we'll hear from Dave Aranda at 2 o'clock. And then, I mean, we got a ton of stuff. Mondays are crazy here on the Mosley Show. It is, and subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Apple, Spotify. There's a lot of different ways to get involved with the Mosley Show. We're happy to have you and happy to have all these unbelievable sponsors that we talk about. All right, Scotty, let's do some Campus Confidential. Let's do that next.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge,
Yes?
and you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mosley Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Unlock your full potential with On It, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, On It has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness, brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Calling all Marvel fans, get Marvel Unlimited and unlock over 30,000 comics featuring your favorite heroes and iconic stories, all available to read anytime, anywhere. Whether you're into classic tales or the latest adventures, there's something for everyone. Don't miss out. Head to marvel.com/unlimited today and start your Marvel journey now. At Angel Bliss, we believe every parent's journey is a beautiful adventure. Our mission is to make it joyful and stress-free with thoughtful, safe, and innovative products. Born from a love for family, we promise peace of mind for parents and comfort for babies. From playtime to bedtime, every Angel Bliss product is designed with care, reliability, and a style to nurture the special bond between parent and child. Angel Bliss, creating happy memories, one baby at a time. Visit us at angelbliss.us. Angel Bliss.
It is the Matt Mosley Show, the Rogue Media Network, brought to you by Central National Bank, our presenting sponsor. And more and more folks coming over where people are enjoying our Green and Gold Game Day, our pregame show. And it was good to be on KWTX and our TV partners as well. Good to be with Faith and Scotty and the whole gang out there the other day. Really a good bunch that we've put together, and enjoy working with everybody there at Camp Fimfo area. Very nice. In fact, Blake Blackmar, who played at Baylor, and Scotty, he gave us a try on those hush puppies he made, where he put some brisket and some cheese and maybe a little jalapeno or something. And I got to say, I would have been fine with just the hush puppy, without but the stuff was unbelievable. But wow, that's the kind of thing. If you put that at a barbecue restaurant or someplace, it really would blow away almost any appetizer on any menu.
Listen, the day that Blake opens up his actual storefront for Texas barbecue, I'm there. I will be the first in line. Those hush puppies he treated us to were unbelievable. They will be on the menu this Saturday. So if you're around Waco, even if you're within 100 miles of Waco, just want to come to a good college football game, come to the tailgate. Camp Fimfo, get some of those brisket cheese hush puppies. Those were awesome.
I thought that was incredible. I got to see Pete make a couple of calls this weekend because I was just happened. He ended up in my Facebook timeline. He must have been calling a Rice game or something. Is that right?
He was at Rice this weekend. Yeah.
Okay. Because Rice had kind of one of those hefty running backs, and he had a nice call on that. So I thought that was good. I like that. He played at Richmond, and I feel like Rice and Richmond, similar sort of academic profiles. I mean, Rice is probably a little higher profile, but Richmond's good. Richmond's a really good school. So anyway, I think that makes sense that they would have Pete on one of those games. Okay, Scotty, this is, I think, what promises to be a very active, and this was an incredible weekend of college football. So I'm anxious to kind of just see what you have on your plate today. It is time for Campus Confidential, featuring one Scotty Swingler with the flat build cap. Scotty, I am not hearing you. We'll have to get our sound going again here. Let's see. Okay, let's.
All right.
There you are. Yes.
There's a port on my computer that's being uncooperative today. So you've got laptop issues that we're going to look at this evening. I've got one as well. Let's do this, Matt. And Campus Confidential is not necessarily the time to go into the most obvious stories. Like you mentioned Texas A&M before the break. I'm not interested in talking about the Aggies. Are you serious? But we're going to go into some stories that maybe you have or haven't kept up with. And so first of all, and this was one that you and I were texting about earlier, Brian Kelly sort of freaked out after the game. They did win 20-10 LSU, but he freaked out on a reporter for asking some, I think, valid questions about LSU's offensive performance. Let's take a look.
I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's a ridiculous questions. And I'm getting tired of it. That football team just worked their tail off to get an SEC win, and you want to know what's wrong. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect. How about that? Give them some respect instead of micro-analyzing every little thing. This is ridiculous. For a group of seasoned reporters, that kind of is so out of line.
Okay.
That's wild, by the way, to insinuate that a reporter's job is not to make observations on your team's performance and ask questions about said observations.
No, but so I can defend both sides a little bit. And by the way, I've been in the crosshairs of Bill Parcells before. As I would say, I've had bigger than Brian Kelly come after me. I've seen it. I've even had Popovich kind of turn the Popovich thing on me before. So I can speak to that a little bit. But I got a kick out of the reporter, Scotty, like when he instead of being bullied, the reporter, when he said, try another question, the reporter went to another negative question. And I have to say, that's kind of funny. Like, I kind of respect Michael Caldwell or whatever. I kind of want to, watch his stuff now, see what he's up to, because he did not exactly back down there. And when you got the bully pulpit and you're Brian Kelly, he was kind of trying to belittle the reporter. Now, that said, I think it's fair. Like, I didn't think Brian Kelly even had to apologize. I think somebody made him. I think somebody asked him to from the LSU PR. I didn't think he needed to apologize. I think every once in a while there's a back and forth. Something gets under a coach's skin. I think it could have just lasted on its own. I think Brian Kelly ended up looking very thin-skinned there. And I think the reporter got a little bit snippy with his, why can't you run what's the deal with third? There is a diplomatic way to ask things. Like, I think it's appropriate. For instance, I knew, and like Smoke and I have both been doing this long enough that like we know maybe there are certain things we can ask that maybe others really shouldn't or can't totally feel comfortable asking just because we've been doing it forever, or maybe even in the past, it's when you have a relationship with a coach. I think a coach reacts like that if he feels like somebody's trying to show him up. I don't even know if that's what the reporter was trying to do. I don't think he was. But that's what Brian Kelly's response said to me. You're trying to show me up. I'm going to put you back in your place. Now, in Kelly's defense, there is like a decorum. Like, as bad as the Bears looked at time the other day in a 42-7 win, Scotty, I knew that the first question from Hawkins or Bryce or me or I knew it couldn't just immediately be like, what in the world happened with Sawyer? What was Sawyer seeing on that? Why were you not able to run the ball more than you were against Stanford? You have to kind of sense how these things go. All those questions are appropriate, but like it's kind of almost like Kelly said, like the third or fourth or fifth question or something. Then you can kind of get into that. Like for instance, like you couldn't start a shoddy, even though it's NFL, and I guess you could do it with that, whatever you wanted. But like it would have been kind of a punk move, and Schottenheimer would have handled it better than Kelly did. But to go into after the Cowboys have just celebrated and had a game-winning field goal, and they win 40-37, and your first question to Schottenheimer is, what in the world was that pass defense? How did you guys let Russell Wilson just embarrass you? That's about what it would have been like. And the appropriate question was the one that was asked, was how did it feel to get your first win as a head coach? And that was the appropriate way to start the Schottenheimer news conference. But again, he's apologized. They moved on. I think I would think of, if I had to rank who looked worse, the reporter or the coach, I start with the coach because he came across as whiny and way thin-skinned. And then second is the reporter, who just probably the timing of it wasn't great. Wasn't an awful question at all. It just, you don't pop him with that on the first question, in my opinion, as a longtime veteran reporter.
Well, regardless, you sent me this a couple hours ago. Brian Kelly, whether this was of his own accord or some very kind staffer on the PR team at LSU, did come out today and say this.
Game. I've texted with Mike and offered my apology to him for the way I handled the questioning. I think it's important to understand that my standards relative to how we work with the media on a day-to-day basis need to be higher, and I take responsibility for that, and I'll be better in the future. And understanding also that the way I'm thinking after a game, and we've mentioned this a couple of times in here, the emotions of the game right after it. I haven't watched any film. It's difficult to make those assessments of specifics. And I'm going to defend my team. I'm going to defend my players first and foremost. But having said that, I publicly apologize to Mike, and he's an outstanding reporter. He works hard, and we'll do better moving forward. So I just wanted to address that.
All right, it's the old apology where he then goes ahead and justifies it again,
right,
and say, "But I'm always going to defend my team." I mean, my gosh, your team, they're all getting paid now. They are basically professional football players, and all the guy is doing is saying you guys weren't good on third down, which they weren't. And they have a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback. I mean, first of all, like I'm not going to be specific, but there are teams in the Big 12, for instance, that probably are thin-skinned, because they're not used to being covered hard or aggressively or tough. Brian Kelly should be the last person that is that. But sometimes some of the biggest people and the biggest names are some of the more thin-skinned people. But as a general rule, Scotty, I'm glad we did this. As a general rule, because I want to make sure I come across the way I meant to on this. I really don't mind, honestly, Aranda's way too nice to really come back at somebody, and you could tell Kelly that thing was a little personal with him. I guess that's the one good thing about Dave Aranda not taking the time nor caring to have any personal relationship with any reporter, is that you can never say it's personal. Even if he came back at somebody, he knows some of our names, but unlike any other head coach I've ever dealt with, he has zero interest in any kind of a relationship with the media, which is interesting. I mean, again, I so far in his career, I think it's worked for him, but I don't know what Brian Kelly's relationship would be like with the media. I would just say he, for the most part, came across as kind of whiny and thin-skinned there. Scotty, what else do you have for us as we continue Campus Confidential? I love watching you work when I can tell when you're working a story or working an angle, because I can just sit there and watch you, and you're monitoring something, or there may be breaking news, or you may just be sending a text like, could somebody get in here and fix this port? This is undermining everything I'm doing. No, Scotty doesn't. He's not like me. He would not do it that way. Scotty, what do you have for us next in Campus Confidential?
Well, Matt Mosley on the Pete Souza Show, one of our sister shows here on Rogue Media, I predicted that Georgia Tech would make the college football playoff this year. They added a pretty good notch in their belt towards that goal when it comes to their chances as they defeated Clemson. The other team that got a big win Saturday was Vanderbilt, who beat South Carolina 31-7. And let me pull the graphic here so we can see this. First time since 1984 where both Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt have been ranked in the top 25 at the same time.
Wait, what year?
1984.
Isn't that a novel? 1984?
It is a novel. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. First of all, even in Georgia Tech has been pretty good at times, and in my lifetime, I'm trying to think what year you would have been born. It may have been right before you were born. Like Georgia Tech came close, or maybe even laid claim to a national title within the past 35 or 40 years. But so it wouldn't surprise me, but the fact that is funny. Vanderbilt, I can't even believe Vanderbilt was in the top 25 even back then. Like, I'd have to sit here and think, who in the world that would have been. And by the way, you know who coached at Vanderbilt back in the day? The great Bill Parcells, who we were just talking about. And then David Lee played quarterback for Vandy. I think his father coached for Vanderbilt. And the coach for Vanderbilt, probably in the 80s, may have been named McIntyre. You can double check me on this. George McIntyre or something like that. Mike McIntyre, his son, again, it may have been a different coach then, but this guy did coach at ended up becoming the head coach before Deion, 2 coaches before Deion at Colorado, the Colorado Buffs, Mike McIntyre, and he also was on Parcells' first staff with the Cowboys. So there you go. And Mike McIntyre, also now the head coach for the San Jose Spartans, I believe, who played somebody we know recently. Yeah.
Google says George McIntyre.
That's what I said.
Okay, great.
Yeah, George McIntyre, father of Mike McIntyre. Isn't that something?
There you go. The
last time that's a good nugget right there, George. Oh, by the way, just a viewing tidbit for you, Scotty, and the rest of our audience. I'm liking this Netflix SEC documentary. And the most recent episode, either the second or third episode, is about the Vandy's win last year over Alabama. But it's all about Clark Lee, their coach, you know, where he's come from, his background. Most times I get a little bit fed up and get too much SEC for my taste, but this is a very, very well done documentary. So keep that in mind as you're making your viewing decisions each night.
Last note from me, Mosley. We got to break a love story a couple weeks ago, and it's time that we break a love story yet again. Let me show you this clip from the other night's broadcast of the Vanderbilt South Carolina game.
I want to know what he told me about Diego Pavia's mom either. Like I'm just, what? That's not a bad. No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all.
Well, let's hear it. Tell us.
The way that I understand this story is that maybe just give me a nod if this is okay. Diego Pavia wins this game. He promised you he would set you up with a date with his mom.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
He's a nurse, and I've always wanted to. My goal is I would like to marry a nurse one day, so that's why I think
smart.
He was thinking about that, but I don't even know if I would do it. I don't know. So, I like being his friend. I don't want to end up being like his stepdad or something, you know.
That would be weird. I got it.
That is being friends, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And we have run out of time.
So for the uninitiated, that was Theo Vaughn on the sideline at the Vanderbilt South Carolina game, host of the very, very, very successful popular podcast This Past Weekend with Theo Vaughn. He has become friends with Diego Pavia, and Diego Pavia said if they beat South Carolina, he would set Theo Vaughn up on a date with his mother, which of course Theo Vaughn there cleverly comments, well, but that would kind of make me his stepdad instead of his friend. That's a little weird. Well, Theo Vaughn put out this tweet after the game: where should I take her? With a heart drawn over Diego Pavia's mom. Matt Mosley, this is the world we live in, and isn't romance beautiful?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Diego Pavia's mom is how old would you say? So if Diego, because he's been around for a little bit, she's 40 years old. 40,
she might be his age because Theo Vaughn's 45.
So that probably checks out. She's around his same age
bracket there. Yeah,
we assume she's single. We hope
we do.
We hope there's not. We hope there's not somebody else involved there. Wow, that was interesting. And can you imagine broadcasting that game and just being a normal play-by-play guy and the analyst, and they're trying to do a nice job, and the sideline says something like he said, like something about Theo Vaughn and Diego, the star quarterback for Vanderbilt's mom, and they did not know what to do. If they handled it right, they're like, huh? And then Cole Kublik, who I've known for years, by the way, and kind of came up in a very odd fashion in the media business, and just kept working his way and getting more and more opportunities. And now he's on sidelines and doing a really nice job. But he did not have, like some of these guys shoot right to the top. Like one of the best ways to get in the media and really shoot up to the top is to be like Chris Collinsworth's son. Like be born to an NFL player, or like Phil Simms' son. Now that's the quickest way to a really good media career, is to just be born into it. And you got to be somewhat talented. I'm not saying those guys. I mean, you don't think Joe Buck's talented, but did Joe Buck have a huge head start and a leg up because of his dad? Absolutely. The late great Jack Buck. Those voices back then, Scotty, one of the reasons they were so great is because those guys, and I would not advocate to any young broadcaster to smoke, but they did smoke, and they stayed up crazy late at night. And the thought of like having a drinking problem never occurred to any of them. It's like, what is that? And yeah, I wish you could see my screen right now, Scott. This is This is part. The low battery sign has come up. Okay, there it is. I'm going to knock that out, plug that back in. Scotty, tell you what we'll do. We'll be. I really want everybody to see all that we deal with during a show, all the nonsense. But you know what? You and I are just such unbelievable professionals. Is that true? I don't know. We just roll right through it. It is time to get into some Baylor. This is what we do for our Baylor audience. We're going to listen to some Aranda until I get tired of it, which I love listening to Dave, so it may not happen. And we're going to react to it, and we'll talk Baylor and Samford. It was not particularly pretty the other day. Is that a horrible sign? No. Is it human nature? Yes. Let's discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly from Baylor's 42-7 win over Samford. That's next.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. BizChair.com, your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. Level up your game with Corsair, the global leader in high-performance gear for gamers, content creators, and PC enthusiasts. From award-winning PC components to premium streaming equipment, smart lighting, and esports coaching services, Corsair delivers an ecosystem designed for peak performance. Whether you're a casual gamer or a pro, alleviate your setup with Corsair. Shop now at Corsair.com. That's Corsair.com. Corsair. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. At Angel Bliss, we believe every parent's journey is a beautiful adventure. Our mission is to make it joyful and stress-free with thoughtful, safe, and innovative products. Born from a love for family, we promise peace of mind for parents and comfort for babies. From playtime to bedtime, every Angel Bliss product is designed with care, reliability, and a style to nurture the special bond between parent and child. Angel Bliss, creating happy memories, one baby at a time. Visit us at angelbliss.us. Angel Bliss. Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Matt Mosley Show, right here on the Rogue Media Network. Thank you, Ascension Providence. Thank you, Central National Bank, for what you do, and we are so appreciative of that. And then just incredible, man. Our group of sponsors, man, they've come right over. Brazos Landing is a great one. We always talk about the landing at the very end of the show. Always fun. And boy, the Lindsay family, some of our great friends. We love doing this show. This is from a little bit ago. We were talking a lot of Cowboys in that opening segment. We'll talk some Baylor here. I did want to let you know that the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, who the great quarterback, was diagnosed with a sprained knee. Not a long-term injury, but Daniels' status this week for the Raiders is in doubt. All right, and so I just wanted to kind of get you the latest on that. We had the news earlier that the Joe Burrow is going to be out for 3 months with a turf toe. He's going to have surgery on his left toe. That's a bad one. And then this is really breaking here right now. News that Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy is expected to be sidelined 2 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Vikings will turn to Carson Wentz as the starter, and we'll see. Now, again, it really is, from what it appears to be, a true injury, and this is not happening because of his poor play last night. You got to stick with these young quarterbacks through some down times. People do that less and less these days, it seems. But again, Vikings are not anticipating having J.J. McCarthy this week, according to their head coach. The injury is not expected to be long-term. Former Eagles starting quarterback Carson Wentz now steps in for the Vikings. Now, there's some, the Vikings had Darnold last season. He ended up putting up huge numbers, and they had a really nice run with him. So I just wanted to get you some of this breaking news that's happening in the NFL. And that's one of the great things about, Scotty, you and I have had that conversation about, I like doing podcasts. Should this be a podcast? Well, it kind of is. But the live portion of this allows us to address this breaking news. I find myself with the Cowboys always having to do emergency podcasts, and that's fine. But it's nice when you can have a live show, react to it, and then, of course, we try to share a lot of these things with you throughout the day. Baylor versus Samford. Scotty, I'd ask you to maybe show a few highlights, but I think it'd probably be like 30 seconds of them. It was not pleasing to the eye. The Bears' hearts weren't really in it. I like the fact, and we'll see what Dave Aranda's attitude is today, a couple of days removed. I was there at his news conference the other day. Thought he was just a little embarrassed. Not of his team. I think he really likes his team, and I think he thinks they can be really good. Just the effort, just the fact that they can't really. One of the things that we kind of demanded or called for, Scotty, on some of our pregame and some of our shows during the week was run the football. It's Samford. Line up, smack them around a little bit, run the football. And they did to a certain extent. And Bryson had over 100 yards, but they were not, by any stretch of the imagination, they were not dominant at all in that area. And honestly, from a throw game, they certainly got a ton of guys involved, and Prentice got another touchdown. Almost every catch, half the catches he has this season go for touchdowns. So
good for Kobe Prentice. He had 4 catches for 16 yards. One of them happened to be for a touchdown. I don't know what was going on with Sawyer. When I asked Dave about it, and what he said the other day was, well, he was kind of in a fog and he didn't have much of a pocket, and just the way the game was going on, I don't know. I don't exactly know what all that means. I mean, it's freaking Samford, who had gotten beat by West Georgia and got shellacked by the Citadel. I mean, the Citadel spends half its time marching around campus. I mean, they treat these players like they're kind of in the academy. This is not like A&M where the players don't have to do any of that core stuff. At the Citadel, I think they actually have to go back to class and make their beds and put on a uniform and stuff. This is the Citadel, for goodness sakes. They're out there marching half their lives away, and they come in there and they just completely crush at Samford's place. So the Samford, the Baptists come in, and the Bears needed just to, it's kind of like Scotty was saying before the game, just crush them. Get out there, throw a shutout. I think that's that may be what Faith was calling for, like a 45-0 type game. Wasn't to be had. Not only did Samford move the ball and were able to go down there and attempt field goals, but then they caught the Bears on some silly trick play. I mean, is that the first time anybody from Baylor's ever seen a halfback pass? I mean, and again, it was the worst looking pass I've ever seen in my life. The guy threw a moon ball, but it wasn't a pretty Russell Wilson moon ball. It was just like, I'm going to throw this ball up real high. And the guy had time to basically call for a fair catch. All the Baylor players, they threw it out. I mean, here a guy comes. He's behind the line of scrimmage. It's so obvious it's about to be a trick play. And every Baylor player, their safety, their corners, the linebackers, here they come. Oh, my goodness, let's go make a tackle. And they throw the trick play. Now, hey, Baylor won the game 42-7. It's not the end of the world. But it's poorly executed. And I'm kicking myself for not asking about it after the game. I was asking about other stuff, namely because I thought Sawyer was a more important story after that game. But I should have been like that Brian Kelly. I should have been like that LSU presser, Scotty, and just opened it with like, what happened on the double pass? What happened on the halfback pass to the end zone? I should have just started it with it, okay? And, of course, I would have gotten in trouble probably. Although Dave's not like Brian. He's got thick skin. Again, he doesn't even care. He couldn't pick any of us out of a lineup, all right? The guy wants zero relationship with the media. It's the way he is. Fortunately, he seems to have a really good relationship with his players, and I think that's way more important than any kind of relationship with the media. Media only helps if you're about to get fired, which he was 2 years ago. The media can be helpful in some situations. But anyway, there we are. Scotty, before we listen to a little bit of Dave, thoughts from you on a game that you took in, you were there, you raced home, you got on ESPN Plus, or you might have, for all I know, you might have been up there roaming around the stands. Were you disappointed, frustrated, or just sort of like, hey, this is human nature that this is going to happen to Baylor? What were your emotions after that one?
Absolutely disappointed. And I found it to be a little ironic and kind of poignant that a week after we were discussing Matt Rule's halftime tirade with Cam Stewart, Baylor goes in at halftime having played fairly sloppy in the first half, comes out in the third quarter and can't score against Samford. I mean, I was embarrassed. I thought it was a very poor showing. Sounds to me like Dave Aranda mostly agrees with me. So I don't feel bad for saying it was a disappointing showing. Easy to focus on Sawyer. It was his worst game of the year, but I mean, team all around. Outside of Josh Cameron, Keaton Thomas, and Kendrick Simpkins, it didn't look like anybody else was out there to play football.
Yeah, I like Micah Gifford. He had a sack and an interception. and there was Caleb Burns, that freshman that was a really good recruit in the 25 class. He had an interception, so I was glad to see some young players do some things. But I joked with you earlier today, Scotty, that you don't want your punter coming out of a Samford game winning like the specialist
Big
of the
12
week.
special teamer of the week. Yeah.
Now, Palmer was great. He averaged nearly 50 yards on 4 punts. Way to go, Palmer. But think about, like, how bad do you have to be against Samford for Dave Aranda to punt 4 times? This is a man who hates punting. I mean, I think it's kind of like, hate the sin, love the sinner. He loves the punter, but he hates punting. All right, I just like to really tie things into biblical things, especially with you, Scotty, having been in the ministry and having been a guy who has a lot of great friends in the ministry, pastors. Old John Durham over there, good friend of yours. We're both friends with a lot of pastors, and that's good. You should surround yourself with as many ministers as possible. It's easier in some parts of the world, and I would say in Waco, Texas, it's about the easiest. More Baptist churches per capita than really anywhere in America. So I'm with you, just kind of frustrated that they didn't care more. As Dave would say, the care factor maybe wasn't as high as it needed to be. They did get out the bear coat. How can you unveil, Scotty Swingler, how can you unveil the bear coat for takeaways? They had 4 takeaways, so that's good. That 45 went in there and made a nice play. What's his name? Rylan Reed or something? I like that guy. He was off to a rough start this year. I thought he played well. There were some guys that did some okay things. But when you get a turnover, instead of like the turnover necklace or whatever that is, that something, the bling. Did you hear Bryce after the game talking about somebody's ice? Talking about Bryson and Kobe Prentice showed up with these big necklaces on. And Bryce started asking them about their ice or something. And everybody was just laughing at Bryce. Like, what are you talking about? The Bears, after takeaways, put on a bear coat. Apparently, the strength coach, Vic Valoria, I think is who they were talking about. Valoria. Anyway, had something like this and was able to bring that to the sideline. I think that's fun. But in typical form, Dave said, I didn't really understand it. Just kind of like, I don't know, but they seem to have fun with it, and they got 4. So he said this thing will be sticking around, the bear coat. Scotty, were there any bear coat sightings on TV or any? I just don't feel like we really I don't feel like the AP or any of the photographers. Yeah.
No, I was at the game, so I wasn't paying attention to the television broadcast. Yeah. And then, when I'm not at the game, Mosley, unless it's a prime time kind of broadcast, I typically just prefer to listen to JMO.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, I hope JMO hears about this. Scotty giving him some love.
By the way, Bobby B giving some love, saying John Durham at Highland is an awesome, awesome dude. Like that.
Yeah, I feel like we've got some Highland listeners out there. I think Scotty's bringing some of them in past the plate. I think the Aggies Sunday morning. I think a lot of Aggies don't go to church. I'm kidding. But I think when your team wins a big game, you have a tendency to try harder to make it to church because you just kind of want to puff that chest out a little bit and be able to have people come up to you. That was a good win. That was a good win. Or they may say, congrats on the Aggies. I think there have been times in my life, Scotty, where after a particularly big Baylor win, I might have made even more of an effort to be at church. Just felt like that'd be a good time to kind of see people and slap some high fives. I think most Baptist churches in Waco, Houston, and Dallas especially have a huge amount of Baylor fans, to the point where for the other members it gets a little annoying. I think Baylor people can, and even out in like Odessa, I think out in West Texas. Now Lubbock, you get so many tech people, but when you're in Odessa, you still have a lot of Baylor people running around out there. I think we're biggest in Dallas and Houston, and then Waco, and then I don't know what would be. I guess Austin, although way too many horns that stay in Austin. But I think Baylor has a pretty good. What am I missing, Scotty? You think San Antonio has a good Baylor fandom? Probably. I think I might put San Antonio ahead of Austin as far as Baylor alums. I'd go Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin.
So,
and then who is fifth as far as Baylor alums?
Well, so I'm going to push back on you. I'm
including Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah. I wonder if this is a generational thing, and I don't mean to like just throw that card out very often, but I think amongst my peers from Baylor, Austin's kind of competing for number 2 amongst my peers. I would say Dallas, Fort Worth is probably top, and I would say it's either Houston or Austin amongst my peers. San Antonio is way behind the other two as far as Baylor alums that are kind of from my class. I would say Austin is actually very high.
Does that mean that job opportunities are better in Austin, that kind of thing? And
yes.
It's like, I thought people kind of stopped moving to Austin because it got so crazy expensive and everybody hates the traffic so much.
It is crazy expensive. The traffic is bad. I mean, absolutely, but it's also the best barbecue in the state. So, trade-offs in life. My buddy got a nice house. One of my best friends got a nice house in South Austin when it wasn't trendy, when interest rates were at like 2 and 3%. And now he's never going to move. He can never move because his house I don't even want to think about how much his house has grown in value. Plus, he'll never get an interest rate like that again. So that was kind of my generation at Baylor, why they ended up in Austin. So.
All right. Man, let's go ahead, Scotty. Do we need to, I tell you what, why don't we're going to listen to some of Dave. Why don't we take a quick break and then we'll come back and we'll do some Dave Aranda because we want to hear some of what he had to say, react to it as he did his news conference just a couple of hours ago. And we want to hear from Dave. And then I think you and I will maybe have some fairly strong reactions as the Bears start to get ready for Arizona State. And they looked good the other night. I watched the first half of that game, and Leavitt's faster than Jackson Arnold, and he's honestly, he looks more elusive. He looks just as fast, if not faster, than Mateer, Jackson Arnold, some of these other running quarterbacks. I'm more scared about Arizona State after watching them late Saturday night than I was, because I think maybe they're starting to figure some things out. We'll discuss all of that next.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4, uhealth.com. Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
Have you ever watched true crime television and wondered, how did they get that story?
I can show you. I was a producer for 48 Hours on CBS News.
In my exclusive tell-all book, I'll take you where no audience has ever gone before. Don't miss out. Secure your copy of Killer Story, The Truth Behind True Crime Television today. Available everywhere books are sold.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but at a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
We haven't been looking for you. Wake up.
Hellhound Country, available anywhere you get your podcasts. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
It is the Matt Mosley Show, Rogue Media Network. And thank you, Central National Bank. Thank you, Brian Fonville, Veronica, the whole team over there, Joe Nesbitt. It's an incredible group. And we'll be telling you more about what they have coming up. And then also Ascension Providence. And then as we were showing a little bit earlier, that Cherry Johnson, Sigmund James, the official law firm of the Matt Mosley Show. Schmaltz's is headed over with us. In fact, Scotty, I was just talking to the new owner of Schmaltz's in the past, I don't know, a couple of days or whatever, and I was letting him know, hey, we'll whatever help you need in terms of what we put on and logos and all, we'll do it. And then I got to get Scotty. We'll have to get a hold of. We're going to start doing some of these trivia contest and the giveaways that people love of the Schmaltz's sandwiches. And Scotty and I, as much as our office at Rogue loves Schmaltz's, we can't just give all those away. We give some of them. I think he'll give us a little latitude.
we can go get ourselves a sandwich every once in a while. But love that Schmaltz is. All right, Scotty, let's do this. Let's listen in. Baylor didn't play well the other day against Samford. They won, though, 42-7. It's not the end of the world. I mean, beating them 66-0 going to make us feel that much better? No. We would have said, oh, they look great, but we would have said they look great against Samford. They won 42-7. We said they didn't look great. Well, they didn't look great against Samford. So it's disappointing, as Scotty said. They could come out and look brilliant against Arizona State. But now is the time to get any of that, whatever that is, apathy. I mean, they got some playing time for some young guys. They had to leave Sawyer out there for too long. He could have thrown 3 interceptions. One, thankfully, was overturned because it hit the ground. But it just was weird to see a guy who's been so brilliant be that careless with the football. And he did it a couple times in the game. One, he just kind of threw one out in the flat. I would say the one thing over the years, as great as Sawyer has been, one of the things that he's done occasionally is just not be as sharp as he needs to in the red zone. Now, when you're throwing constantly 45 and 50-yard touchdowns, kind of like Russell Wilson was doing last night, maybe you don't feel like you have to be that sharp. But one of the things you can't do, whether you're inside your own 20 or you're on the opponent's 20, you're in the plus 20, that's when you've got to take care of the football. And that was just weird the other day to see him kind of really just an indiscriminate throw out to the flat that was picked off, and he had another one, and it was strange. Again, still, love the guy, and I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to have a great season. But he's got to lock back in because the focus was not where it needed to be Saturday. All right, and I do want to tell you, Scotty, because I talked to the guy who's writing it today. I won't give too much away, but their ESPN is there, and it's not going to come out this week, but sometime in the near future, ESPN is doing a really cool big story on Sawyer, and it'll be, I believe, on the .com side of things, but there might be like a video component to it and some of that, but that's good news. That's good news. I was kind of doubting because I didn't think Dave, and I've made that public, and I may have rankled a few feathers over that. I just didn't think Dave, it wasn't about anybody else except Dave Aranda. I just didn't think Dave was going to be as like, again, I don't think he would try to keep Sawyer from winning a Heisman, but I don't think his media approach and his protocols particularly help a player like Sawyer. And so I cast doubt on that. And turns out there was already something in the works. So I'm not trying to say I spoke it into existence. It was already happening. And maybe I was wrong to be worried about Dave, that help is on the way. And I do think no matter what Dave's approach is, that if Sawyer continues to put up big numbers, Baylor will throw all its weight behind a Heisman campaign. All right, I have been assured that. But anyway, gosh, I just honestly, I'm glad people are out there listening and watching and consuming my tweets to a certain extent. I'm glad to know they're out there. Okay, Scotty, let's hear a little bit. This is Dave Aranda from earlier today, taking some questions, doing his press conference. His usual Monday press conferences. They start to prepare for Arizona State. Let's check in and listen to Dave Aranda today and react to some of this.
Good to see you guys. Excited for this week. It's a good meeting today, good practice, a lot of good energy there. This is a big rebound week for us, so we're looking forward to the work that we got to do to play a good game on Saturday. I know Saturday night will be exciting, so we're looking forward to that. Any questions you guys got?
Coach, after watching the tape from Samford, have you noticed any improvement in the defense overall, especially going against another dynamic quarterback and receiver duo?
I think it's going to take every day intentional focus and effort by coaches, players, all of it to get to where we need to be. I think there's some improvement there, but certainly not enough. I think we're going to be way tested Saturday with really physical run offense and big play offense, and a guy that we got to locate and try to get more than one dude on. And so that causes a lot of issues. And so for us to play really sound physical defense in that type of landscape is something we just really haven't been a part of yet. And so, we got better today. We've got to continue to get better. There'll be work kind of volunteering, guys watching film together and all of it the rest of the day. It's going to take that every day to get to where we need to be.
Dave, you said last week you wanted to see maybe just sorting some of those issues out this past Saturday. What do you want to see this week in terms of that bounce back, like you were talking about?
We have to play more physical on O-line and D-line.
Dave, are there any young guys like Caleb Burns or Micah Gifford who showed that they're ready for larger roles against Sanford?
I think it was good to see them making plays. I think when you make plays like that, you can gain some confidence. And so I think there's some confidence now behind their game. And so I think that first step's always kind of a big one because you're kind of stepping into a void, and then you kind of find your footing after that. And so I think they can clearly see the next step. I'm excited for them to take that next step.
Dave, regarding the 4 takeaways that you had against Samford, how much of your defensive identity do you want that to be a part of? And do you feel like you took some steps?
I hope so. I think, I think the excitement about guys getting takeaways was good to see. We had a couple today in the 2-minute period that we had, and a lot of excitement with guys getting it. And so I think everybody wants to be in that bear coat, I think I think once you kind of get it going, it can be contagious. I don't think we've got it going yet, but I think there's a want to, and I think guys recognize the importance of it, and it needs to be a part of, I think with our offense and our ability to score as fast as we can, and the offenses that we see and how many possessions there are, I think we have to get takeaways, and so it's a must.
All right, Scotty, stop it right there, please. Scotty, is that Growler Bear? Is he wearing the new, it's not new, but they've made a push to get the old Growler Bear back involved. Let's take a peek here. Is that Growler Bear or is that
No, that is
Bear?
That is the new one.
Oh, dang it. Okay. I thought they were using Dave to sell some Growler Bear, which I would have been excited. That's good commentary, isn't it? When we try to break down what apparel he's wearing. My favorite moment there, and he didn't mean it to be funny, but it was funny, was when he said something about, put on the bear coat. Scotty, let's isolate that at some point and just kind of use it as a drop. For some reason, that made me laugh. That one line he just said a minute ago, where he just said something like, he was so sincere about it. He's just like, it's very important at Care Factor's High to get that bear coat on. There's just something about how he presented it that was just too good to get the bear coat. So anyway, I side with Dave on this. Like, I get it, and it's not a bad question. Bryce is right to say, do you think you can build on it? But I think Dave's take is like, it was Micah Gifford and Caleb Burns, and it was a blowout, and we got a couple of takeaways. Like, no, it's not probably a watershed moment, and I would like that to be us. Dave's feeling a little surly this week and a little fed up with his team, and he did not like the way they approached it. And you used the word, Scotty, like embarrassed or something earlier, and I thought at the time when I heard you say it, I thought that may be a little strong. The truth is, that's how Dave's acting. That's how Dave is kind of coming across. His players embarrassed him a little bit with some of their behavior the other day. That's good news. Again, he's not a pounder, and he's not going to go after somebody. By the way, now, Scotty, Brian Kelly's response, which we played earlier, I think we broke it for America, is now like one of the lead headlines on ESPN.com. Like it's very funny that like the stuff that I used to be drawn to that nobody else cared about and that I would end up writing about, and that actually kind of helped me in my career, is the stuff now that leads stuff. It's like TMZ is driving the world. They realize at ESPN that more people care about some stupid media tiff that Brian Kelly's having than what's happening with Joe Burrow or what's happening with Diego Pavia or whatever. They would rather play that, what you played earlier, Scotty, Theo Vaughn and Diego Pavia's mom, and this stuff. That's driving the train now. Okay, let's go. Let's continue. This is Dave Aranda. I want to see where he goes because in my mind, he's in a real foul mood right now. Let's continue with Snarly Dave.
Maybe after one of his, tougher weeks, I guess.
Yeah, I just walked by him. There's a like a skywalk there, and he's out there with Trig right now, getting extra work, and so I think he's very motivated. I think you always, as a coach, you feel like you need to say something. You really don't need to say much to him. He gets it, and he's on it.
What did you see from the rushing attack this week, and maybe getting some of that going after maybe not that much success in the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think we've had more success with stretch plays and wide zone than we have with inside zone. At the end of last year, the inside zone was by far kind of our best style of run. We just haven't been able to get the movement up front, and I think some of it has been, at the end of the game, we're running into loaded boxes, runs that have RPOs attached to them. We really should be throwing it, and we weren't. And, I think B. Wash was, there's 20 guys in there, and he's, running through 18 of them. And so I think there's a whole improvement there that's got to take place for sure. But I think the ability to run them wide with the stretch play and get that loose to kind of soften up the middle with the inside zone is how we're looking at it.
Dave, when you talk about O-line and D-line improvement, is that personnel or is that just those guys getting better?
Those guys getting better, yeah. I think, our movement up front, the line of scrimmage, when I broke the team this morning from our practice, I told them, hey, man, the line of scrimmage, those first series or two, it's going to go one way or the other, and that's really going to be the game. Kind of where is that push going? How's that look? And so we have not, 3 games in, we have not decisively won kind of that battle, and we've won some games without it. In this game, I think to win it, we're going to have to win that battle.
Hey, will we ever see you in the Bearcat?
No. I think Vic does a great job of finding those things. And like I say, I never would have thought people would really be interested in it. And so I think that just shows how far removed I am from how they think, and so they're fired up for that, man. They're talking about it. They want their pictures. They want it on the Jumbotron. And so, hey, man, let's just get takeaways,
Do you use it in practice too, or is that just a game thing?
No, that's just a game thing. Yeah, I think that we had a couple of guys kind of pose as if they had it on. So it's a full-on thing right now.
Dave, what does Arizona State do especially well?
They're a game plan outfit on offense. I think they will look at your structure and design plays for that. I think they're a big play offense. They try to feature zero, and they'll move him around to do that. Quarterback is very dangerous scrambling. We've played some some quarterbacks that are dangerous scrambling. He's right up there, if not the number one guy of all of them. I think he's very fast, and when he decides to kind of cut it loose, he can make big plays. Both throwing it on the run, but running it for sure. I think the running backs are a squad that's kind of coming together. I think they're looking to get healthy and everything, but they're a talented group. You know, obviously there's a big miss from last year, but I think they've got a competent and really solid, really good group. So it's a challenge for us. I mean, the line of scrimmage for them is a lot of returners and veteran guys, and so they handle movement really good. The ID, pressure, and they're able to kind of sort through it and pick it up and move it out the way. And so, they play a brand of ball that kind of bullies you. I mean, if you let yourself be bullied, they'll take it. Then defensively, I think a lot of pressure in big time moments. I think linebacker-wise, really talented. I think front-wise, they got two edge guys that can win one-on-ones, and they'll here lately a lot of zone, try to force the ball down until it gets into pressure moments, and then they heat you up. I think that heat up thing could be around any corner. I think they use that and call that out pretty effectively.
Obviously a different year, but after last year's start to Big 12 play, how are you guys approaching this beginning of conference play and maybe starting faster and emphasizing that?
I think it's just the team that we've got right now, focusing on kind of what we've done well and how can we multiply that. If we've got really good people, could they be better served playing more? Could they be better served in a package? Could we take some of the calls that we're doing here and put it into this personnel package because these guys are playing well? I think anytime when you're starting to learn your team and guys are playing well, you want to feature the stuff that's going good. So I think that's going on right now. I think that's a way important part of this particular time right now. Along with that is the stuff that we're not doing well. We got to get it fixed. We got to find ways to change how we practice, change how we meet, change how we think about things. And, I think the morning practices are good in that respect. It gives coaches a lot of time throughout the day to kind of sit it down, break it all down, go by piece, and put it back together. Now, a lot of times the things that you do all the time you don't recognize. There could be thoughts that you have that are just constructed that you don't think about. And you have to break that down to kind of get to, here's how we can get better. So there's a lot of that going on too.
Dave, is there anything cool or exciting about playing a Big 12 opponent that you haven't played yet?
I'm excited I've always been a fan of this particular team. I know there's a coach. When I was younger, I would always travel. I remember my mom drove me this time because I would drive to visit these schools to go talk with coaches, and I'd go to Cal or Stanford or I think I went to Arizona one time. So I told my family I need money, so I'm gonna drive to Arizona State, and so she didn't want me to do that, so she drove me. So we went to Arizona State, and there's a coach over there named Johnny Barr that I used to meet with. Phil Snow was on that staff at that time. Kevin Wolfhausen, all these guys, just Bruce Snyder staff, unbelievable staff. And I remember, Arizona State, the campus kind of turns into the downtown. There's like a downtown area that looks pretty cool, and it goes into campus. And so my mom dropped me off right in the middle of that. Mom, please pull off to the side. Can we go in the back before you drop me off like that? So when I think of Arizona State, I think of that. But yeah, they've always been a fan. I've always been a fan of them, and so I'm excited for this game. It's a big game right off the bat. I'm excited for the opportunity.
All right. That's good. See, that's why you sort of wish that he cared more about media, because he is funny, and he he's an endless source of like interesting material and stories. And I bet he was in college wanting to do that. I don't think he would have been in high school. I mean, I'd have to look back and see when Bruce Snyder. It was probably. I mean, Dave and I are about the same age, so he may be a tad bit younger. But anyway, I can kind of remember that era, and it would have been probably 90. What he's talking about is like 93 or 94 probably. And around then, Arizona had Desert Swarm. They had a coach named Dick Tomey, and so Arizona would have been something he would have been very much interested in. Baylor beat them in the Sun Bowl. I think that was Grant Taft's last game, circa the 92 or 93 season, and for Baylor. But that's pretty cool, Scotty. I mean, he's probably either a senior in high school or was already at that California school, the Redlands, or wherever he went. And I think he's from the Redlands. I can't remember that school. He went to school with Tom Herman somewhere. Anyway, that's what he said. I mean, he wanted to drive, and his mom didn't feel comfortable with that. So she takes him all the way to Tempe. And what he's talking about is there's a drag there, and then there's this thing called A Mountain. A for ASU. It says ASU up there, but they call it A Mountain. You can climb it. It's not much. But it's where Darren Woodson, a lot of the greats went for Arizona State. And there's just all these bars and restaurants on this main drag. So obviously he was wanting to be let off at a certain area. That's hilarious. Because that's almost how we were with our moms, like we were in junior high. But if I got my timing right in my head, he was older. He might have already been in college or a senior in high school or something. But it speaks to how to get where he ended up, especially with his particular unique personality. You like had to put in like an insane amount of time, effort, hours, and you're just like going to see random people, random coaches. Like that is a level of dedication that kind of lets you know how he became sort of a defensive guru, because that didn't start once his coaching career started. That started when he was still like an undergrad, just desperate to pick up and be a sponge. It also probably helped Dave that he had that injury or whatever and couldn't play college football. As weird as that sounds, it probably freed him up to really, really try to jumpstart his coaching career and learn about more stuff than he would have if he were playing the whole time like some other people were. Scotty, good stuff, man. I appreciate it. It was fun today. The landing, the Brazos landing, go get you that bang bang shrimp. Go get you a sirloin. Get some surf and turf over there. They'll put a lobster out on you if you're not watching it. They may bring some meatloaf out. It's the sides, the mashed potatoes. Whoa. Just everything they do. And their seafood is so good. Like their grilled fish, their fish of the day, all their soups and everything, incredible. And then you got that beautiful view right there on the Brazos as the fall weather, as it starts to, we got fake fall going on right now, but as it starts to break, sit out by the water. I love it. I love my time there, and I love that family, the Lindsay family. They do such an incredible job, and they're great supporters. She was the Baylor team nurse for many, many years, and she and Claude, man, they get it done. We got to get Claude over. Claude's a big radio man. We got to get him over, listening to some of the streaming, but we'll do it. It is the landing, the Brazos landing. Boy, thanks to all our sponsors. Another tremendous day, and thank you to Scotty for doing such a great job. And then Scotty, as we speak, our man Mike is on the way over here to the home studio to switch out some stuff. Now, the problem is, of course, he'll switch it out. Then I still won't know what to do with it. But he's coming to work on some things. For Scotty Swingler and Matt, I'm Matt Mosley, and we will say goodbye until tomorrow at 1 o'clock straight up. Good night, everybody.